ladies and people with limiting beliefs. Andy here. I went from depressed and suicidal to living a life of joy and abundance. If I can do it, you sure as hell can too. This is the Kill Your Inner Loser show. Let's fucking go. New intro, testing it out. It's not super smooth yet, but we'll work on it. That's the template I have so far for my intro. Let me know if you have any suggestions or comments. Let's talk about a nice little comment that I got on my YouTube channel a couple of weeks ago that I've been meaning to sit down and talk about. So I'll read it out, and there's a couple of things going on here that I want to mention to you guys. So Taylor, who actually ended up he's currently one of my coaching clients. He ended up signing on for the proper full-on one-on-one coaching. But he left this comment, this was a couple of weeks ago, before he was a client, and he said, shout out to the 30-minute calls being high value. So I'm doing 30-minute calls for $250. Kill Your Inner Loser, that's me, helped me reframe a limiting belief that had weighed me down for years in 20 minutes of talking. Sometimes you just need a chat with someone you click with. So I want to talk about a couple of different things here. The first thing I want to mention is a big part of the reason why I am reading this out is because anytime someone, so if you're building I don't like to call this a business because it doesn't feel like a business. That is not my mission at all. My mission is to help people, and because that feels good for me. But sure, it's a business. What I'm doing is essentially a business. I make money from this coaching. And if you're building something like what I'm doing, if you want to build up coaching, or if you have a YouTube channel, or you're a content creator, or whatever it is, there are several different ways that you can do your, quote, marketing. And in the early years, I followed all the templates that everybody talks about in sales and marketing and persuasion and all of that. But I personally felt like it didn't really line up with my core values. It felt a little bit dirty at times. It felt a little bit manipulative, and that isn't to say that someone who's into sales and marketing is manipulative, not at all. But for me, it felt a little bit like it didn't line up with my integrity. And I got to a point where it's like, can I just be honest with people? Like, if I want to make money, can I just say to them, hey, I'm trying to make money? Or, hey, can you please give me money and I'll give you something in return? Like, do I have to try and play this game where I'm pretending that I'm not trying to make money? Or, being more opaque, instead of being transparent? And I tested it out a little bit, and it was absolutely terrifying, just being completely honest with people. This is, several years ago. And I would just say like, hey, I'm trying to hit this goal of like, $2,000 this month. I'm trying to make money here. Hey, I'm trying to raise my prices so I can have more abundance, so I can quit my job. And I was just very honest and open and real. And I found that clicked a lot better for me. And so if you're someone that wants to do something like coaching, or you want to be a content creator or anything like that, I guess what I'm trying to say here is you are allowed to be completely transparent. Like, if that's a path that you would like to take, if you want to do sales and marketing and all of that, do that. Great, brilliant. But I guess I'm putting another option on the table, which is you can just be completely honest with people, and people will respect it. They'll either want your product or they won't. And so part of the reason why I'm reading out this guy's comment, obviously I'm going to give you guys a bunch of value in a minute. I'm going to tell you some different ways that you can find someone to help you talk through those limiting beliefs. Outside of me, I obviously offer coaching, which is what this guy is talking about, but I've got a bunch of resources here for if you can't afford coaching or you don't want coaching, here's all the other ways that you can smash through some of your limiting beliefs. But a big part of the reason why I'm reading this out is to say, hey, I offer coaching, by the way. Here's a reminder that I offer coaching. And when you do it in this sort of more transparent way, where you're literally saying to people, as I'm literally saying to you right now, hey, I'm telling you that I offer coaching because making money is nice and I like it and I enjoy it and it allows me to do things and it facilitates my growth and it facilitates helping other people and blah, 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 blah. If you're just very open with that, what you find is a lot of people, or most people, will meet that with like respect. If anything, they go, wow, thank you for not using manipulation tactics on me. Thank you for just telling me that the entire reason, not the entire reason, but a reason that you were doing this video is because it reminds people of your coaching and that will make you some money. Hey, thank you for telling me that. Another thing that I learned is in the early days, I didn't have my coaching prices on my website. That was a sales and marketing technique. Everybody said, don't put your price on your website. That's the worst sin that you could ever do. It's horrible. It will scare people away. You need to not tell them the price, get them onto a free call with you, and then you blast them with all this value, and you tell them about how you're going to change their life, and you give them all this stuff, and you get them excited, and then you give them fear of missing out. You ask the question like, what if you didn't change your life? How, tell me what your life would look like if you just kept doing what you're doing and you didn't make a big change. And they feel all the fear and the missing out and all of that. And then you go, all right, now that we're invested and you're ready to sign up, here's how much it costs. I was doing that for a couple of years because that's what I was told that I needed to do. And that felt so dirty, manipulative. I'm getting them invested and making them want something and then pulling the rug out from under them and being like, by the way, it costs $5,000. Good luck with that, faggot. And then if they had the money, awesome. If they didn't, they have all this fear and this anxiety and oh my God, but I have to do anything. I need this. I'm so invested in this now. I need this coaching. And that never really felt that good. So at some point I took this big plunge, which was terrifying. It was really terrifying at the time. And I said, what if I just put my price on my website? And I did. And guess what? I got just as many, actually more people signing up because they're like, hey, thank you for just being honest. Now I get to see what the price is. I can go away and think about whether or not I think it's worth it. If I don't think it's worth it, I know you won't hold it against me. If I think it's worth it, awesome, great. So I'm showing you that there is an alternate way. If you don't want to do sales and marketing and you don't want that sort of feeling of having to convince people, and this is something that I talk about in dating and sex and relationships and all of that, I'm a very big proponent of just telling the truth. You know what I mean? Just being honest and putting it out there. And if people like it, they like it. If they don't like it. So yeah, part of the reason why I'm mentioning this is that I do offer coaching, $250 for a 30-minute call. This guy seemed to have gotten a lot of value out of that. A lot of other people do. There's a link below in the description. Now, let's talk about some of the other stuff that I wanted to talk about. So, as he said here, talking to me, Andy, helped him reframe a limiting belief that he'd had for years. And it only took about 20 minutes. It really did. It was very, very quick. I was just like, hey, what about this though? I think the limiting belief that he's talking about, because he's since signed up for proper coaching and we've gone through a bunch of other limiting beliefs, but I think the one that he's referring to here in our very first call was, I think he had a limiting belief where he had a lot of things on his list that he wanted to do, but he was calling them things I have to do or I should do. And I basically said to him, you don't have to do anything. You could sit in your room alone for the rest of your life and just stare at the wall and nothing bad would happen. Someone would come along and feed you because nobody really wants to see someone else suffer and die. Homeless people will get fed, they get money, all of that kind of stuff. There's welfare programs. You could literally just sit at home and stare at the wall. There's nothing in this life that you have to do. You could even choose to die if you want to. You're allowed to do that. No one will stop you. You always have that right or that possibility. And so I guess that power is what I'm saying. And so I said to him, you don't have to do anything in life. And so now all that we're left with, if there's nothing you have to do, and I talked him through the exercise. It wasn't this quick. We talked him for about 20 minutes or so. And once that clicked in his brain, I said, so now you're only left with one question. What do you want to do? Everything in your life is a bonus. It's a gift. You're allowed to do whatever you want to do. There's nothing you should do. There's nothing you have to do. There's nothing you need to do. All the stuff that I talk about on my YouTube channel, you don't need to do any of that. Everything on my website, you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to change your life. You don't have to do self-improvement. You don't have to lose weight. You don't have to have an amazing sex life. You don't have to work on your mental health. You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to have friends. You don't have to have a job. You don't have to do anything. There's nothing you have to do. There's nothing you need to do. There's nothing mandatory. You'd sit in a corner and die if you wanted to. You're allowed to do that. I would support that. If that's genuinely what you wanted and you were honest about that and said, hey, I just want to sit in a corner and die, I'd say, great. I hope you make the most of that. I hope it's the most beautiful death of your entire life. I hope you have a spiritual experience as you die. And you're just, man, I'm so grateful that I have the ability to die. If that's what you genuinely wanted, I'd want that for you. And so when you realize that there's nothing you have to do, you're only left with what do I want to do. And that can be so unbelievably freeing because so many of us in self-improvement, we have this list of demands for ourselves. We're like, I demand that you go to the gym. I demand that you be kinder to yourself. I demand that you fix your negative thoughts. I demand that you fix your broken self. Not that any of you or any of us are broken, but you will call yourself that. I demand that you get a girlfriend. I demand that you lose your virginity. If you're a woman, I demand that you find a man and settle down. I demand that you be a strong, independent woman. All of these kind of demands that we put on ourselves. And half of them we've never really checked to say, do I even want that thing? Or am I just telling myself I should want that thing? Or have other people told me that I should want that thing? And so when you actually go inside and pause and say, and investigate, don't just take my word for it. Actually investigate yourself. Run through each of the things that you think you have to do and basically ask yourself, what would happen if I didn't do that? So if I think I have to go to the gym, what happens if I don't? Okay, well, I might gain a little bit of weight, I guess, over the next 30 years. Well, plenty of people gain weight, so I guess there'd be nothing wrong that would happen there. I guess maybe I wouldn't get the sex life that I want, but there's plenty of fat people that still have an amazing sex life, so maybe that's not even true. I guess if I didn't go to the gym and didn't lose weight, there'd be other ways to get an amazing sex life. I could find one partner who maybe doesn't care as much about looks, and we could just go all in, and we could spend the rest of our lives having a crazy sex life. I could pay people for sex. That's an option. I could get really rich, so then people are magnetically attracted towards me for that. I could not go to the gym, but I could just be lean anyway. I don't have to go to the gym to be lean, I guess. I could just be skinny, and that would be good enough, I guess. Or I could just be average and just dress amazingly. I could just have amazing style and put all the effort in. And yeah, maybe some of those things don't have as big an impact as going to the gym, but there's still solutions to those problems. I could come up with ways to answer the things that or to get the things that I want, or to go for the things I want. So you start running through this exercise, and you basically say, what would happen if I didn't do this thing that I'm telling myself I should do? Even some of the big things, I have to make money. I'm sick of being poor. It's what happens if you don't? Okay, well, I probably won't have an amazing apartment. I'll probably have to share with other people. Maybe I even have to be homeless. Oh my God, no, homelessness. Oh my God, the scariest thing in the entire world. What would happen if I was homeless? Well, I'd probably get a little cardboard piece of paper and get a big fat text or a pen. I'd write, homeless, please give money. Thank you. I love you. And I'd just sit there and hold that sign, put my little hat on the ground, or if I couldn't afford a hat yet, I'd just have my hand out. Or I'd go up to strangers and say, hey, can I please have $1? I'm kind of homeless. I'm kind of destitute right now. It would mean a lot to me if you could give me $1. I'll put a smile on your face if you do. I'll tell you one joke if you give me $1. And you'd just go around hustling. Within the first week, you'd have, or each day, within the first day, if you hustled enough, you would have enough for a cheap apartment, a cheap hotel, or there are places that are $20 a night. You could go up to 5 people, 20 people, I guess, and say, can I have $5? And 1 in 4 of them will be sure, here you go. After a certain point, you have enough for a room. You only need 4 people to say yes if you're asking for $5. If you go up to enough people and just say, hey, listen, I'm kind of down on my luck. I need $23 for this. It's at this place. I have the address. It's $23. Do you think you could give me some amount of money? It would mean the world to me. If someone came up to me and said that, I'd be like, here you go. Here's $23. There you go. And if not, you would ask a bunch of people and they'd give you a bit of money. So you kind of go through this exercise of what would happen if the absolute worst thing ever happened and I didn't do the thing that I'm saying I should do, or I have to do, or I need to do. I've had other coaching clients who've said things like this to me. They go, I have to get up and feed my cats every day. I have to, even when I'm tired. I have to feed my cats. And I say, you don't have to feed your cats. And then this client, she said, yes, I do. I have to feed my cats or they'll die. And I said, is that true? Have you ever checked? Have you ever actually investigated? Do you have to feed your cats? And she sat there and she thought about it for a bit. And I said, what would happen if you didn't feed your cats? And she said, well, okay, I guess my family would feed them. Then you don't have to feed your cats. And she thought about it for a bit and she's like, whoa, I don't have to. That was an epiphany. That was a life-changing epiphany for her. She was like, I don't have to feed my cats. This whole time I have been thinking, I have to feed my cats, I have to feed my cats, and feeling resentment and beating myself up and, feeling like it's a chore and meeting it with resentment and I have to do one more thing. There's so many things I have to do today. And we kind of went through some of the things on her to-do list. And I was like, you don't have to do that. She said, well, I have to have a shower and, go outside and make myself look my best when I go outside. I was like, no, you don't. I have to have a shower. Is that true? And we investigated and we checked and it was like, oh, I guess I don't have to have a shower. I would just smell a little bit and maybe people would avoid me outside, but plenty of people smell outside. And I don't think they're horrible people. I just think they smell and I don't go near them. I don't go super close to them. That's it. And so you kind of investigate each one of these things that you tell yourself you have to do. And when you check the answer, 99.999999% of the time, I'll give you a hint, the answer 100% of the time, but you might not believe me on that. But the answer is you don't have to do anything. There's nothing you have to do. And when you realize that, that's so incredibly freeing, like I said earlier, because it frees you up to then say, do I want to do this thing? Do I want to have a shower? Yeah, I do. And then you say, okay, why? What's making me say, yes, I want to have a shower? I've just established I don't have to have a shower. I don't have to feed my cats. I don't have to go to the gym. Why do I want to? Well, because I like how I smell when I shower, and then it means people are close to me, and it makes me feel really nice. I feel really good when I have a shower. Wow. So I want to have a shower. This whole time I've been putting it on the chore list, like, oh my God, I have to do this thing. It's not fair. Like, life is making me do this thing. Why do I have to do this thing? Other people demand that I have a shower. But I want to. You do the same with the cats. I like how the cats, I like how much love the cats give me when I look after them. I love just meeting their needs. I love knowing that I can care for another, animal or another species or another, ball of molecules put together as an organism. That's very reductive, isn't it? I love knowing that I can look after someone or something else. That makes me feel good. It makes me feel lovely and kind. Wow, so I do want to feed my cats. I like going to the gym because I like the way my body feels. I like making the progress. I like seeing how my body develops. I like being able to look in the mirror at my body and say, hey, I looked after you today. I did my best today. That feels good. Wow, I don't have to go to the gym. I want to. Now, what you're doing, and I've talked about this many times. Let's pull this little thing up because I love this graph. You guys are, or this map, I should say. You guys, some of you are going to know exactly what I'm about to pull up here, aren't you? Yeah, you are. You cheeky little fucks. You know what I'm going to pull up here. This is called the Map of Consciousness. And it was written by, or made by David Hawkins. And it's basically a nice little map or levels or a hierarchy, whatever you want to call it. But it's a nice little mapping of most of our emotions or all of our emotions, the main emotions. And when you're down here in the bottom emotions, anger, desire, fear, grief, apathy, guilt, and shame, when you're doing something, it feels like a chore. It's not life-giving. In fact, it's life-taking. Or another way of saying that is it doesn't give you energy, it takes energy away. If you're feeding the cats out of guilt, like, well, I have to feed the cats because otherwise they'll die, and, I don't want to be a bad person. Or fear, like I'm scared the cats will die if I don't feed them. Or I'm scared that people will run away from me if I don't have a shower. Or I'm scared that people will judge me. I feel guilty for being overweight. That's why I have to go to the gym. When you're down in those levels, that takes energy. That saps energy. It literally takes energy to do the thing. It takes energy to go to the gym. It takes energy to even think about going to the gym or feeding your cats. It doesn't feel good. But if you can move yourself up to courage, let alone just neutrality and just being neutral about it. The cats, the cats need to be fed, or I would like the cats to be fed. Someone's going to feed the cats. It may as well be me. That's neutral. Let alone if you can move up to like love, which is what I'm getting you guys and girls to do when I say figure out why you want to do the thing, or ask if you want to do the thing. That's moving you up to love. That's moving you up to joy and even peace sometimes. You look at the cats and you go, I love how it feels to feed them. Now we're talking love. That's life-giving. That gives you energy. That invigorates you. That empowers you. That fires you up. Think about what you would do for someone you love. You'd take a bullet for them, as opposed to someone you're feeling guilty for. Like, you feel guilty about, oh, I need to feed the cats, or I need to have a shower, or I need to work hard at work because my boss will yell at me and I feel I'm afraid and I feel guilty that I'm lazy. It's like you'll do the bare minimum. But imagine if you went to work and you loved your workplace and you're like, man, I love working here. I love my boss. I love my people. You'll go above and beyond. You'll do stuff that wasn't asked of you. You will show initiative. You will leave the workday after a 9-hour shift and you'll feel fired up. You might be physically tired in your body from working, but you will feel emotionally, spiritually, energetically charged up. You'll feel like, God damn, I could work another shift. Now, I'll probably fall asleep if I work another shift right now, but mentally, emotionally, damn, I can't wait to go to work tomorrow. I'm going to go home, I'm going to do some stuff, I'm going to go to bed, and tomorrow, oh man, I get to talk to more customers. I get to talk to my colleagues again. I get to talk to my boss. I get to do my job and be in the flow state. Man, I can't wait. It's why I in the past, I was always so confused when I worked jobs, and on every Monday, like clockwork, people would go, oh, Monday blues, oh, I hate Monday, oh, bloody Monday. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? It's Monday. It's the first day of the fucking week. There's 5 days of work left. This is so exciting. And they'd be like, oh, what are you talking? I need like my 5 coffees and I can't wait for Friday. And I'm like, Friday? I mean, Friday is great too. The weekend's amazing. Everything's amazing. But like, why aren't you happy that it's Monday? I was always confused. And it's because I didn't have this map. I didn't understand any of these concepts. But I was up in love. Every job I've worked, apart from one, and I still tried to love it, I left after 7 weeks because it wasn't clicking with me. But every job other than that, which at this point's been like, I don't know, like 10, 15 jobs or something over my life, every single one, I was up in love. I loved the job. I found ways to fall in love with the job because in my mind, I was like, I'm going to be here anyway. I'm going to be here for like 40 hours a week. I may as well love this goddamn job. And if I don't love it, that's okay. I can quit. But if I'm here, I may as well love it. And I found ways to love it. And it was always very confusing to me when people would sort of sit there down in the lower levels of like guilt. You know, I'm a bad worker. I know I should do something. They would say stuff like that. They'd be like, oh, I've been really lazy today. I should get to work. Like all these low level emotions take energy. And so that's one of the big reasons why I'm getting you guys and girls to ask yourself what you actually want rather than saying, oh, I should go to the gym. Oh, I have to lose weight. Oh, I need to lose my virginity. Oh, I have to make a lot of money. I can't do this anymore. I have to fix this. I'm so broken. I need to stop having negative thoughts. All of these low-level emotions, they take energy. They're not empowering. It's actually harder to get the things that you want when you're stuck down in those low levels. That's why I focus so much in my content of like turning things around and finding a positive way to say something and looking into your own eyes in the mirror every night and saying, I love you, and connecting with yourself in that way. If that's difficult, just look into your own eyes and say, hi, every single night. Coming up with a list of 50 things about yourself that are likable. It's why anytime one of my clients says, man, you know, I got rejected by a woman and I feel awful, I'll say, write me 15 reasons why that rejection, it wasn't a rejection, she just didn't want to have sex with you. That's not a rejection. A rejection is her saying, you suck as a person and I reject everything about you and you don't deserve to be alive. That would be a rejection. But write 15 reasons why this rejection or her not sleeping with you is a good thing. And then that moves them up into love or joy or, you know, sometimes even peace. It at least moves them up into reason or acceptance or willingness or sometimes even just neutrality. They just feel neutral after that. It doesn't always make you feel like love and amazing. Sometimes just writing one of these lists of gratitude just makes you feel like, whatever. Hey, that's better than sitting there feeling dejected and rejected and in pain and suffering, isn't it? So I have all these different exercises, which, you know, I didn't come up with most of them. They come from Byron Katie. They come from the psychological, you know, tool called cognitive behavior therapy. They come from David Hawkins, the guy who wrote this or who made this map here, this list. So there are all these different tools to pull you up into the high level emotions. And that's why I focus on this stuff so unbelievably much. Because if you think about it, if you're just in a state of love, hell man, even if you're in a state of neutrality, how much easier, if you're just feeling neutral, you're feeling nothing. How easy is it to go outside and talk to like 20 women? Or how easy is it to send a couple of emails and start building your business or your clients or whatever it is that you're working on? How easy is it to go to the gym if you're just feeling neutral? You're just like, oh, I'll go to the gym today. Whereas when you're down in the low levels of like shame, are you going to go to the gym when you feel shame? You feel too ashamed to step into the gym. It's so difficult. The idea of even going to the gym fills you with even more shame and even more guilt. And it's like a self-reinforcing cycle. That's why I focus so much on, and why I have always focused since the start of my website on being positive. I knew from before I even had things like this map or I even understood any of these concepts, there was something in my brain that was like, you want to be positive. Every time I've ever been positive, I get more done. I don't know why. Now I do know why, because of this map and other things like that. But at the time I was like, I don't know why, but if I'm just positive and if I just give myself a positive pep talk, if I don't beat myself up, I get more done. I'm not sure why. I don't know what the mechanism is, but it's absolutely fundamentally, abundantly clear. And every single friend I had, it was clear with them. And every single person on the forums that I saw, on the Good Looking Loser forums back in the day, it was very clear with them. And so that's why I focus so much on this content of pulling you up. So, limiting beliefs. Again, this guy's question was, you know, Andy helped me reframe a limiting belief that had weighed me down. Sometimes you just need a chat with someone that you click with. Obviously, I offer coaching and you're welcome to sit down and chat with me, but some other things that you guys can do is I have this video on my channel. It's a very old video now called It's My Birthday, so let's destroy all your limiting beliefs. So go and check that one out. Just go onto my YouTube channel. It's My Birthday, let's destroy all your limiting beliefs. And I answer a bunch of limiting beliefs. Another one, How I Beat Depression and Learned to Be an Optimist, my story. So that's on my YouTube channel. It's also a full-on article on my website. So you can just go to killyourinnerloser.com/depression. There's also a button on the very top of the page when you're on the main page. I've got my guides and stuff like that. This one here, How to Beat Depression. So just click on that. It's at the very top. And it's a long article. Oh my God, look how many resources. I tell the whole story. Oh my goodness gracious me. Look how amazingly freaking long. This is a very long article. I mean that in a good way, but I have a bunch of like resources, a bunch of books. Here I've got like a whole list of stuff of what to do if you're depressed, and then a whole bunch of like self-improvement articles. There's a lot of stuff here. I talk about like counseling, either with me. If you want to counsel with me, I'm happy to do that. One of the 30-minute calls or proper coaching. But I talk about like how to actually find a counselor if that's something you want as well. I talk about how to make friends. I talk about, medication if that's something you want to go with. All this sort of stuff. So I would go to that article. Another one I wrote is what to do when you feel hopeless and helpless. So just search for killyourinnerloser.com and search on there. And in this one, I ask a bunch of different questions. This video is amazing to watch by a guy called Dr. K, this guy here on the left. He's absolutely amazing. His YouTube channel is amazing. So go and read that article. I also have, where is it? I'm pretty sure I linked to it in that article. No, I didn't, but I will show you a separate article. So I wrote another article called like questions to ask yourself if you want a happy, fulfilled life. Here you go, this one here. So you can just search my website for questions. It's called Questions to Ask Yourself If You Want a Happy, Fulfilled Life. I've done like a bunch of podcasts and I've just stuck them all in this article. So I would listen to all these podcasts here. And then I have a bunch of questions. I think like 50 or so questions. And they're just like, some of them are very deep questions just to get you thinking, to get you to start sort of thinking, to start breaking through some of those limiting beliefs. So again, that article is called Questions to Ask Yourself If You Want a Happy, Fulfilled Life. I also have a list of recommended books. And I'll leave a link to every single thing that I'm mentioning here. Every single one of these articles, I'll leave them in the description. Some books that really help. You can't afford the luxury of a negative thought. This book is like amazing. I also did a podcast about it, so you can listen to that there. This book is just like absolutely brilliant at breaking through some of your limiting beliefs. Another one is Loving What Is by Byron Katie. You guys know that I am obsessed with Byron Katie. I talk about her all the time. All of her books are great, but really, really, really good at breaking through limiting beliefs. She has a really good system. It's called The Work. And it's essentially 4 questions. I won't go through all of them here. Just read her book. And I've talked about it in a million different podcasts. But the first 2 questions are the best. So whenever you feel a limiting belief come up inside you, you ask yourself, is that true? So if you say like, I have to go to the gym, is that true? And the answer has to be either yes or no. So don't let your mind start going like, well, I do. It's like, no, the answer is yes or no. I have to go to the gym. Is that true? Yes or no? And sometimes you'll go, yes, I do have to go to the gym. Okay, yes, okay, cool. The next question, can I absolutely know that that's true? And really meditate on that question and sit there, marinate in it, let your thoughts run wild, go crazy, but sit there and actually take the time to think about that question. Can I absolutely know that it's true that I have to go to the gym? And most of the time when you ask that question, a sort of like peace will wash over you. If you let it, don't rush this. You have to sit there and like really think about it for a minute or so. A peace will come over you a lot of the time and you'll go, well, I guess I can't know that I have to go to the gym. I can't know that my life will be absolutely brilliant if I go to the gym. I think it will be. I'm pretty sure it will be. I'm pretty sure I have to go to the gym, but I can't know that I guess I don't have to go to the gym. I guess, maybe some things will happen in my life that I don't want to happen if I don't go to the gym. But I don't have to. Okay, now we've started talking some truth. Now we're actually telling the truth. We're not telling lies anymore. And then from there, you do the rest of the process. But yeah, go and read her book for that sort of stuff. Other really good book that is really, 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 really useful is Letting Go. So that's this yellow book here, letting go. It's very similar to the Byron Katie book. It's very similar to her process of, is that true? Can I absolutely know that that's true? It's very similar to that sort of thing. But yeah, I would absolutely read that book or listen to the audiobook. Really, really, really good at letting go of some of those limiting beliefs that you've been holding on to for so long and like questioning them and saying, is it even true? Is it even true that I have to go to the gym? Is it even true that because I'm short, I can't get laid? Is it even true that women hate bald men? Is it even true that, I don't have anything of value to give to anyone, so I could never make any money? Is that true? You go through some of these books and start questioning that stuff, and then start investigating it. For the one of, is it true that I have no value to give and so therefore I could make no money? Go outside, go up to 100 strangers and say, hey, if I make you, I got a fun little game for you. If I make you smile, would you give me $1? And if they say yes, pull out a joke book. You can borrow a joke book from the library, so it doesn't even cost money. Pull up a joke book and just tell them some shitty joke. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side. And then just stare at them. And if they smile, you say, I made you smile. Can I please have that $1? And yeah, you get $1. Congratulations, you just showed yourself that you have value to give. That person paid you $1 because you put a smile on their face. They agreed to that. You asked them first. You said, hey, would you do this? They said yes. You then followed through. They then handed you $1. You just gave them some value. So we start investigating some of these like long-held limiting beliefs to see if they're even true. I'm always a big fan of taking action. I talk about that with you guys all the time. But a lot of these limiting beliefs, you go out and you take some action on it. You say, is that true? The limiting belief of like, women will reject me if I hit on them. Go outside and just give 100 compliments to 100 women and see what happens. What you're going to find is 98% of them will be really nice to you, really nice. Some of them will have a big smile on their face and will almost cry because they'll go, this is the nicest thing anyone's done for me for months. Thank you. This meant so much to me. And you go, oh shit, women are nice. I guess I had a limiting belief that all women are mean and that they're only nice to alpha male chads who have a big dick and lots of muscles. Maybe I never checked that. I never investigated. Some of the other ones, like, I can't be honest with women because they'll reject me. I can't be vulnerable because it's weak and it's not an alpha male thing to do. I can't be honest about my intentions to make money. I have to sort of use manipulation and sales and stuff like that. When we investigate them and actually try it out and give it a genuine go, don't just try it with one person, right? Go out and actually try 100 times. This thing that you're afraid of, it usually doesn't even take 100 times. It usually takes like 10, but go out and try it a decent amount of times and actually start investigating some of these limiting beliefs. We're really just questioning. It's not up to me to tell you that your limiting beliefs are wrong, but it's up to you to question and find out the truth for yourself, right? Another book, or another guide, on that will help you with limiting beliefs is my How to Make Friends guide. So I have this big guide of how to make friends, super in-depth, and I talk about how to screen for friends who will have your back. I have a template here. You can literally just copy paste this template, or you can tweak it yourself. And you just send that to people on Bumble. Bumble has like a friends section where you can make friends. I've made a bunch of mates on there. It's really amazing. And you just basically like copy paste this template. You can also go to Meetup and, I've got some conversations of screenshots. This guy actually is still one of my best mates. We did this like 2 years ago too. This guy's like still one of my best mates to this day, funnily enough. So yeah, I show you that it works, blah, blah, blah. Imogen has used the same template, so has a bunch of my friends. I got a bunch of other ways that you can make friends who will have your back. You can also use my forums, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But the reason why I'm getting or encouraging you to make friends who will have your back is those are the people that will question your limiting beliefs. And, if we go back to the comment that this guy said, he said, sometimes you just need a chat with someone that you click with, Like, he and I only sat there for, I think it ended up being like a 40-minute call or something. But, like, in the first 20 minutes, it was just like, he very much felt like, or I assume he felt like, hey, someone's actually listening to me. As he said, like, hey, someone you click with. And so one of the easiest ways of doing that is to make some friends, like I said in this article, that'll have your back. Like, surround yourself by good people. Surround yourself by people that want the best for you and will challenge you and call you out on your limiting beliefs or gently push you towards something a little more empowering. Again, in terms of empowering, I'm talking about the higher levels, even the middle levels on this thing. So pushing you away from, most limiting beliefs are right down the bottom. Courage, the one in the middle, courage is where you start letting go of some of your limiting beliefs. You start that process. Acceptance is when they've all gone. Like, When you're at acceptance, you're like, hey, this limiting belief was crap, was bullshit, I don't believe it. But all the low levels is where you have those very strong limiting beliefs, and surrounding yourself by friends who have your back, they don't want you to sit down in the red, down in these low-level emotions, because those low-level emotions don't feel good. They don't. They're not empowering. They make you feel like a helpless victim. And if you want to step out of the victim role, you move up into courage and any level above that, but even just courage, even pride. Pride is so close to courage. Starting to get some pride in yourself and having an ego and going, I'm better than this. Other people can do it. Why the hell can't I do it? I'm just as good as them. That's like a little bit of pride. That's getting so close to courage. So, yeah, surrounding yourself by friends who will push you to be a better person, man. And if you don't have it, go through this article, like I said, even short of this article, I talk about it here. Forums, right? I've got a couple of forums here who are great, like great forums. But you can go on my forums. Here's my forums. It's just killyourinalloser.com/forums. Sign up on there. There's such a ridiculous amount of like amazing people in these forums who are giving so much value. And at this point, I think we almost have 2,000 people too. Yeah, look at this. Total members, 1,865. Like, it's just such a great place of people that are so unbelievably supportive. And so even if you don't have friends in real life that'll help you with your limiting beliefs and challenge you and stuff like that, like jump onto the forums. Short of that, my coaching programs are great. One of the guys in my coaching program right now, he signed up for the group coaching literally just because he said, I don't have anyone in my life that I feel like pushes me. I don't have anyone in my life that I feel like wants the best for me. And he said, I think I'm just going to sign up for your group coaching. Andy, I almost don't even care what you coach me on. I just want the friends. I just want to be surrounded by great people. So there's that as well. So all the coaching options are there. If you want one of the $250 calls like this guy had, that is there. If you want group coaching or one-on-one coaching so that you can be surrounded by some of these people, that is there. Short of that, all of the articles that I've just listed and all of the YouTube videos and that should be more than enough to start you blasting through some of these limiting beliefs that we all sort of have them. We all have I have a million limiting beliefs. I've talked about that a million times. I've talked about my doubts, my insecurities, my fears, the things I'm terrified of. I did a video last month called, on my channel called I am terrified to do this, or I was terrified to do this. So we all have limiting beliefs, but if you start pushing through them and pushing up to those higher emotional levels, I promise you life is a lot more freeing. It is a lot more peaceful. It is a lot more easygoing. And you get the things that you're looking for, or you achieve the goals that you have, or you become the person that you want to be far easier when you sort of push with courage through some of those limiting beliefs. So I'll leave links in the description to everything. As always, go out there, crush those goals, and have a fabulous time doing it.